Today, I have the pleasure of sitting down with an incredible writer and director who is making waves in the mainstream with her brand new film, 1001. And I'm so excited to welcome A.V. Rockwell. Hello.
Hi, thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here. Such a pleasure.
Do you know what? I have to big you up so much because this is officially my new favorite film of the year.
Hey.
And I have to say as well, a huge congratulations because already 1001 is a Sundance Grand Jury Prize winner. And I've already publicly said, if this film doesn't clean up during award season, I'll take it personally. I'll be on the streets protesting. So
Oh man, I
just
love it.
just to add to that, the film brought me to tears, if I'm honest. And it's already out in the US, making a lot of moves, loads of people are talking about. And now that it's on the way to the UK, how does it feel for your debut feature film that you wrote as well to finally be here?
Oh, it's wonderful. I'm excited. I actually have family out in the UK, so I know that they've been waiting for it. I'm excited for them to get it. But I mean, I have so much love for y'all, and I'm just so happy that the movie also just is getting this opportunity to be on a global stage because I wrote a story that was very specific to my experiences or the experiences of people around me as I grew up in New York City. But so much of this film is just it's incredibly universal.
Yeah.
And there's so much for people to take away from it and that people that can identify with despite whatever or regardless of whatever their background is. And so I'm
Yeah.
happy that we are able to connect with people like you and audiences, like everyone listening, so that they can see this and experience this movie for itself. And I hope it does feel like something that they can come out of it, different person than what they entered.
Definitely. I love that. And I think there was so much to unpack. And obviously we don't want to give any spoilers away, but there was a specific thing that I enjoyed, which was very subtle. And it's what created that lump in my throat throughout the film because the emotion seemed to be built up when nothing was said. So there was a lot of silence during like tough conversations. Like little Terry was just a silent boy. So between his mother and like with his father figure as well, and the fact that his mother and father figure always had a little conflict. What do you think, and what did you want people to learn about these family dynamics?
I mean, I think there is silence and there's also a lot of secrets. I think there is a big secret that people have talked about a lot in the ways that they've experienced the film, but there's so many layers of that within the film that build up, and I think that what we experience in the movie and how we experience this family, I think we're able to see the power of family. We're able to see the power of home and stability and what that means, especially for these characters that have been so robbed of that in early chapters of their life. When we first meet them, we understand that they're both there. Inez and Terry are longing for that, and then
Yeah.
Lucky when he comes in. But we also see that there's work to be done within this unit. We see the work that needs to be done within families and how they are fully showing up for each other. And it's like, how can you fight the battles that you need to fight against the world if you're not
Yeah.
fully fortified in how you're being there for each other, if you're not standing in that fight and fighting side by side. So I think that I was really trying to unpack all of that and how those root issues can ultimately get in the way of bigger beasts that need to be fight for our communities and what we see experienced in the film. How can you fight that big fight that Terry and Inez go through,
Yeah.
that they're up against, especially in the final chapters of the film, if they're not if there's things that need to be worked out, if they're not fully together and they're not fully there for each other in the ways that they need to be, especially in the case of Inez, in the ways that she feels overlooked and unseen over the course of the movie.
Definitely. There's a specific line in the movie where it's quite early on, Inez and Terry in the phone box, and they're like, we're in this together,
Yeah.
whether you like it or not. And that's what I loved. Automatically, I was like, yo, this is ride or die. Let's go. And talk me through Inez, because obviously she's troubled. She had a hard life. But you mentioned it earlier. She always tries to show up for her son. And obviously there's a lot to unpack. But why was Teyana Taylor the perfect fit for Inez?
I think she was a perfect fit because she gave me everything that I was looking for. I think it was so important for me that like she felt like New York, that this was an actress who embodied the city, embodied what it meant to be that New York City girl, but also like an underprivileged New York City girl, you know.
Yeah.
And and I think that giving me that, but then also giving me the excellency of just like an actress who can deliver a performance of a really complicated character. Inez has so many layers and shades to her, and I think that I needed that psychology to be understood on a number of levels. And so I think Teyana, she very beautifully encapsulated what I was looking for. I think also, and even in her physicality, I just feel like I really wanted, in the ways that Inez embodies what I wanted to celebrate about a group of women that are misunderstood,
Yeah.
but I wanted to dignify them and I wanted to celebrate what makes them one of one. I think Teyana is also one of one in her own way, and I felt like would also add to the portrayal of this woman in the real world. So I think by the time that I saw her, I'd seen such a volume of women that just couldn't fully give me everything. And it was a little bit of a tall order, to look for that level of truthfulness, but also the same level of like, just the pedigree of a really great actress. So I was really surprised, because I hadn't seen her in this type of role in anything before, but also just really just like excited and grateful that we had finally found her.
Definitely. I'm so excited for the both of you because I honestly feel like you're both shining in this movie through the writing, through the character development, and through her acting. So again, congrats. Now there's one thing in particular that stood out. So I found out that you were born in Jamaica, Queens, and
Yeah.
I felt the aesthetic of 90s New York. I could smell it. It was thick. How important was it for you to bring the look and feel of 90s New York to the screen?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see in the movie, we go from the 90s into the 2000s in New York City. And I think in the ways that the movie starts, I really wanted to drench people in the experience of New York City, especially the experience of it that I loved growing up. And so you really feel the personality of it. You feel the vitality of this world. And it is complicated. It was a complicated time for the city. We were coming out of a few decades of just like a really troubled experience, but you see what was still beautiful about the city. You see what was still accessible about it. And I really wanted to cement that so that as the movie evolves and you see the personality of the city change, you felt that shift. So it was, I was really intentional about how we crafted the overall arc of New York City.
Definitely. Hook me up with the stylist because I'm here for the big gold hoops, the chains. I want it all. I want it all. But
Melissa
honestly,
Vargas, costume designs, Melissa Vargas, yeah.
love that. Yes. Big up the whole team because they absolutely smashed it. And that's something to kind of pick up on. Like, the team, the network that you have. What is something you would want to share with the next generation of writers and directors to be prepared for when it comes to getting into the film industry and creative industry in general? What should they be prepared for, and what should they know?
What should I be prepared for? I mean, I think be prepared to take a journey. It's like you can't build a career, you can't build your dreams overnight, and I think a lot of people do anticipate that, and so it's very hard to fight the fight for the long haul. I think you need to come of it being patient and having a level of endurance and being ready to run a marathon, and enjoy that ride. And so I think be prepared for that. I think what else would I say is like as my advice coming in? I think also be true to yourself. Like be true to yourself, be true to your voice. I think that I think be embrace what stands out about you as a storyteller. And I think make sure you're telling stories that mean something to you. Don't try to pander. Don't take on industry pressures. Don't take on audience pressures as well. Like obviously we tell stories from a place that like we want to reach people and connect, but it has to come from a truthful, authentic place. So tell the story that's on your heart, the story that keeps you up at night, tells you the story, because that's what's going to get you through all these different challenges that you will face inevitably over the course of your career. It's going to be like, why do I want to tell this story? Why does this matter? Why do I feel like it needs to get out into the world? Who am I trying to represent? What am I trying to say? Like all of those things are super critical and are going to be your guiding light.
Oof, You tell him, girl. You tell him. I love that. I love that. Well, we have a tradition here at the Mainstream, even though you just drop some absolute advice, but more specifically, we talk about everything from, education to even doing your taxes. So, what are your top 5 tips? Or I'll give you grace because it's a short interview. What are your top tips to make it in the Mainstream?
Top tips to make it in the mainstream: be true to yourself. Um, Look for and build community, but build it in a way that is organic. I hate when people try to force relationships.
Yes.
And enjoy the ride and soak up all of it. Everybody has their goalposts, what they're aiming for, but make sure you enjoy every aspect of it and enjoy not only the journey of following your dreams and building the career that you want in the mainstream, but also just enjoy how it nourishes you and builds you up and makes you a better human being and makes the experience of life that much more fulfilling and worth living. So soak it all up and don't forget that like you're on a journey, you're on a mission to get your stories out into the world, to get out into the mainstream in whatever capacity, but also how am I being enriched as a human being? How is this informing who I am and how I'm able to give back to other people along this ride, along this road? So yeah, those are my tips. Take with it what you will.
Oh, beautifully said from a beautiful creator like yourself. Thank you so much.
So much.
So, Avi, let us know how we can support the film. And everybody, I just want to put it out there. I've already followed Avi on every social media platform. I'm her #1 fan. So if you want to join as well, how can they support you, Avi?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, thank you so much. Again, I really appreciate all the ways that you're supporting us because 1001 is coming to the UK. It'll be in theaters April 21st. So please go check it out. Bring your loved ones, bring everybody, bring your mama, but bring everybody. I think again, it's a universal film that I think could speak to so many different types of people. But yes, you can also find me online at Avery Rockwell, and you can find the movie at 1001 Film, or 1001 on various on TikTok. We're on Focus Features. We're on Instagram, Twitter. We're around here. We're everywhere you need us to be. So come holla at us.
She is out here this summer. We love to see it. Thank you so much, Avi, for joining us on the Mainstream.
All right. Take care. Thank
Thank
you.
you.